So, what if your life was an operating system? A set of rules and inputs all designed for one very specific output: power. Today, we're going to break down one of the most talked about blueprints for success out there, what we're calling the Andrew Tate OS. We're going to look at the code that runs it, from its core principles all the way to its ultimate goal. Right off the bat, this quote sets the tone for everything. There are no shortcuts here, no cheat codes. This system is all about a direct confrontation with difficulty. It frames pain not as something to avoid, but as the only path forward. And that one idea, that single concept, is the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. And here it is, the core thesis, boiled down to a simple equation. This is the entire system in one line. You've got discipline, money, strength, network, and purpose. Each one is a pillar, and according to this, none of them are negotiable. So let's break down each part of this formula, starting with the very foundation. According to this OS, before you can change anything about your results, you first have to totally reprogram your mind. See, the foundation isn't about what you do, it's about how you think. And, more importantly, your ability to act on those thoughts, no matter how you feel. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark choice it presents. There is absolutely no middle ground. You either adopt a mindset of absolute responsibility, where every single outcome in your life, good or bad, is your fault, or you fall into a victim mentality. And the system argues that only one of those paths leads to any real power. This quote really shows you the engine that's supposed to power that absolute responsibility. In this system, motivation is actually seen as a liability because it's unreliable, right? It comes and goes. The goal is to just replace it entirely with this machine of pure discipline that works whether you feel tired, stressed, or completely uninspired. So how do you actually build this discipline? Well, the framework gives this simple, almost brutal three-step process. First, you have to outwork everyone. The belief is that all success starts with just relentless effort. Second, consistency over motivation. You stick to the plan no matter what. And third, you have to delay gratification, trading that short-term comfort for long-term freedom and bigger wins down the road. Okay, so once that internal mindset of discipline is locked in, the system points all that energy towards two main external goals. These are the tangible things, the metrics the OS is actually designed to maximize: wealth and physical strength. And this is the core idea of the output phase. In this worldview, wealth isn't just about buying nice things. It's a tool for freedom. And strength isn't just for being healthy. It's a display of dominance, a sign of a strong mind. Together, they are basically the key performance indicators of the entire system. This really highlights the system's obsession with personal action. The map and the tools might be provided, but an opportunity is totally worthless if you don't put in the work to actually seize it. It all comes back to that core idea. No one is coming to dig the gold for you. And to put the financial goals into perspective, the source material throws out figures like this one: $250,000 a day. Now, whether that's literal or just purely aspirational, it shows you the massive scale of ambition we're talking about. This system isn't programmed for a comfortable salary, it's programmed for extreme wealth. And to get to that level of wealth, the system argues you have to reject the traditional paths. University, from this perspective, is basically a trap. The argument is that it wastes your peak energy years, puts you in massive debt, and just dangles this promise of success that the truly rich almost never attribute to their college degrees. It's seen as this inefficient detour from building real power in the real world. This pretty much sums up the entire ethos of self-reliance. Waiting around for some institution or degree or any kind of external ladder is framed as a losing strategy. The instruction is crystal clear. Start climbing right now with whatever you've got, even if it's just your fingernails. All right, so once the foundation is set and the outputs of wealth and strength are being generated, the OS moves to the next variable, the network. It's not enough to be strong and rich by yourself. The system demands that you leverage those assets for influence and build some powerful alliances. So your social circle isn't just something that happens to you, it's a strategic asset that you have to actively build and manage. This slide breaks it down pretty simply. You have to surround yourself with high performers or killers because they're the ones who set the standard. And just as important, you have to be ruthless about cutting off anyone who drains your energy or holds you back. And within that network, the system lays out these principles of influence. It really emphasizes this role of being a protector and a provider. And a really key concept here is frame control, which is basically controlling the narrative of any interaction you're in. It means you set the terms, you set the direction of the conversation instead of just reacting to what someone else is doing. And all of this brings us to the final, and you could argue the most important variable in the whole equation, purpose. You see, all the other parts, the discipline, the money, the network, they're just inputs. Purpose is the ultimate why. It's the core command that the entire operating system is programmed to execute. At its absolute core, the driving motivation is this profound rejection of an average life. It's not just about being successful, it's about refusing to be normal, refusing to be just another face in the crowd. This is the fuel for all that relentless effort and sacrifice that the system demands. This quote just perfectly summarizes the philosophy's brutal focus on outcomes. Your story, your excuses, your good intentions, none of it matters. The only thing that gets measured, the only thing that actually counts, is the tangible result you can produce. End of story. And so, we arrive at the system's ultimate objective. The discipline, the wealth, the strength, the network, they are all meant to be tools, channeled into a single mission-driven life. The final goal isn't just about personal power for its own sake, but about building a legacy that's going to outlive you. So there you have it. The framework is laid out. It's a clear, if incredibly demanding path to a very specific kind of victory. The source says you should judge a tree by the fruit it bears, which leaves us all with a final question to think about. If you follow this operating system all the way to the end, what does the fruit of that tree actually look like?